What's going on, everybody? My name is Louis Kobetz, and I'm here again with another video of why I switched now to the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, and why I believe this is the best camera for wedding filmmakers and really just content creators alike. Now, before we get started, I just want to say a quick thank you to today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of courses dedicated to dozens of creative and entrepreneurial skills. Whether you're just getting started with filmmaking or you really want to add some knowledge to your current craft, this is a perfect place for you to go. My personal favorite filmmaker and cinematographer, Ryan Booth, has an excellent course called DIY Cinematography, and I, as a personal user of Skillshare, have been accessing quite a bit of information from these classes that they offer. Be sure to click the link down below to take advantage of this exclusive offer for 2 months free of Skillshare. Now, I must say, I was absolutely terrified to switch to this camera because it just was every bit dependent on the videographer, the cinematographer, whomever is holding the camera. Everything was up to them: manual focus, aperture control, changing different settings, and I was just a little bit intimidated by that at first. However, it actually turned out to be my favorite reason why I have this camera and use this camera for all of my wedding films and just all of my different various projects that I have. Now, being in complete control has really just made me more intentional with my work, with my shots, and it really has made me a better filmmaker, I believe. This camera has no autofocus. You can touch the autofocus with various lenses, but it's not something like Sony or Canon or even Fuji to where it will actually track subjects. So you are in complete control of the focus, and I was really terrified of that. Coming from autofocus systems like those three, I thought that I was going to miss a few shots here and there, but I actually found myself missing more shots with autofocus than manual focus, because every now and then autofocus is not 100% reliable and it would just hunt and you would miss quite a bit. With this, however, it is going exactly where I tell the lens to go as far as the focus plane, and I felt that I'm much more confident with the manual focus than the autofocus systems. This is the one camera on the market that actually delivers everything that you could possibly need as a wedding filmmaker or just a content creator in general. The image quality that comes out of this camera is really second to none in any camera of this price range, or really under $4,000 or $5,000, apart from obviously the brand new Blackmagic 6K. But I truly believe this is the one camera that actually delivers a full, complete package comparative to things like the Sonys, the Canons, the Fuji. People are very afraid to go down to a micro four thirds sensor, but if you get a speed booster, it's really no different. You can get a very shallow depth of field and a very wide field of view by adding a speed booster, and if I'm being perfectly honest, full frame is not in any way, shape, or form a selling point for me in terms of videography and cinematography. Now, this is truly my favorite camera that I've ever used. There are so many reasons why it's such a fantastic camera, but the one that keeps me just blown away by this camera is just the image quality. Really, the colors are what are so impressive. Coming from the Fuji X-T3, which has amazing colors, I prefer the Blackmagic colors. Now, not only does this camera shoot in ProRes, which is an incredible codec, it also allows you to shoot in RAW, which is mind-boggling that you can get raw video in a camera that costs $1,300. And although I don't use RAW, it is definitely something that I will be playing with in the future, mainly because I just don't want to mess with the plugins of Adobe, and I'm not quite ready to learn DaVinci Resolve. Now, for the same reason that I switched to the Fuji X-T3, I switched to the Blackmagic for the exact same reason. It was really the best image quality I could get for the money. I was so adamant and excited to switch to the Fuji, and I really enjoyed the Fuji X-T3, but the problems with overheating when recording in 4K at 60 frames was something that made me miss quite a few shots. And I remember vividly being at a wedding, and my wife was second shooting with me, and her Fuji shut off in the middle of the ceremony. It was 75 degrees inside of a church, and she just looked at me and said, "We're selling these." And it was that moment I knew this was the camera that was going to not only give me the best quality, but be able to perform in any circumstances I needed it to perform in. Now, I was absolutely terrified, like I said, to switch to this camera, but at the end of the day, it worked out perfectly. I could not be any happier, and even though I have to add extra accessories like external SSDs and different types of batteries to power it, I really do believe this was one of the best decisions I've made for my filmmaking career. Now, if you have any questions about this camera itself or comparing it to other cameras that I've used in the past, please feel free to put those in the comments section below, and I'd be more than happy to answer as many questions as you guys have about the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Louis Kobetz, and I'm out.